Hello guys, welcome back to ESENtaxa. Andre Papito here. In this video, I'm going to talk about the new changes on the Impatriate regime 2024 and what happens a few days ago, 18 December 2023, the Italian parliament pushed back some rules, some ideas of the Italian government. So we're going to understand what it means exactly from the taxation point of view, but really we care about it, not really the system, the Italian system, the legislation Italian system. We want to understand what happens now for the Impatriate regime 2024. First of all, I want to remind you that ESENtaxa, this channel, talks about how to optimize your taxes before moving on a specific country, such as Italy. We also cover Belgium, Portugal, Republic of San Marino, and Albania. So we know how to tax simulate all your income or your worldwide income and check if the relocation makes sense for you or not. And we are #1 channel that in English language explains the Italian tax system, how to squeeze your taxes down in Italy, improve, provide your tax strategy, and relocate to this country and pay less tax possible. At the top of it, we have also an accounting service, which basically you will find our packages in our website, www.esentaxa.com/accounting. You will see our packages for all the tax regimes that you can apply in Italy, and also accounting to run a business through an entity, through an SRL. Now, going back to the topic, what happened? Let's summarize a little bit about this Impatriate regime, which is the most important tax regime that you can exploit when you want to relocate to Italy. Now, in October, let's make a little bit of history. In October 2023, so October 2023, we had the change of the Impatriate regime. So from 90% deduction or 70% deduction of your income, so 70% or 90% of your income tax-free, to 50%. Okay, so the government changed this tax benefit. 70% tax-free if you were moving in the north of Italy, 90% if you were moving in the south of Italy. So the government says, no, it's too much, and they wanted to change. They want to reduce this benefit. So 50% of your income will be tax-free, regardless your location in which area of Italy. It doesn't matter. The only exception is the municipality of Campione d'Italia, which is a very small town outside the Italian territory and surrounded by the Swiss borders, okay? In which you have to add always an extra exclusion of 30%. So your total income tax-free will be at 80%, okay? So this is how it works with this new decree coming from the Italian government. The problem is that in the end of October, so let's say 31 of October, the government says, okay, it's a little bit a problem because all the people that already moved to Italy, they cannot apply the Impatriate regime, old rules. They plan to move to Italy because they were attracted by this tax regime with these percentages, and they would already move to Italy. But unfortunately, you can apply the Impatriate regime when you're a tax resident, and they move to Italy at the end of the tax year. So they change, they say, all these people start complaining, and basically they said, look, let's give to those people at least a transitional period in which you can still benefit from the Impatriate regime old rules, old big percentages, if you register yourself in a commune of residence before the 31st of December 2023. Okay, so they gave this opportunity to still benefit from the old big percentages before the end of the year, for those who were planning already to move to Italy. And this is the last chance to apply the old Impatriate regime, okay? And that was concluded. The story was basically over. That decree was approved, and then everything is done. But the 18 December, the decreed law in Italy by the Italian legislation system has to be converted from the parliament at the end of the round trip. So the parliament has to turn the decreed law into a law. In this conversion, if the majority of the parliament stays with the government, they don't make any changes. But this specific case, some people in the majority of the parliament, in the party that represents the government in the parliament, they decide to give some adjustment during this transformation from decree law to law. Okay, and also the opposite parties, they were claiming a lot about it. They say, why did you reduce this huge benefit? We could have attracted a lot of people abroad, and instead they were not coming anymore in Italy because you basically reduce a lot of this tax benefit. From the other hand, the Italian government claimed that they were pushed by European Union to do not exaggerate with this tax benefit. Otherwise, we are going to be fined by the European Commission because we are going to be a country with unfair tax system compared to the rest of the European countries. So this is the story, okay? Long story short. So in the 18th December 2023, they put some slight adjustment on this Impatriate regime 2024. So the new Impatriate regime, this is the Impatriate regime, let's call it Impatriate regime 2023, and this is the percentage in 2024, okay? So these are the two schemas. This 30%, as I said before, is just for the municipality of Campione d'Italia, which is just an exception. The rest of the country remains with 50%. But in 18 December 2023, the parliament adjusts a little bit this decree law while moving to a law. What is this adjustment? The first adjustment is that the 50% of the Impatriate regime, okay, so you understood the story. Let's now focus on Impatriate regime 2024. Okay. I need to change also the color. Okay. So the change was 50% can be raised to 60%. So you're going to have from 50% tax-free of your income as an employee or self-employed up to 60%. So they ask a slight increase of this tax-free income if you bring with you a child in Italy, or if he happens to have a child, a minor, or adoption of a minor in the time you were benefit from the Impatriate regime, in these 5 years of time, okay, while you're living in Italy. So if you have a child with you, this can allow you to have 10% more of exclusion of tax-free tax income exclusion of your income, okay? This is the first adjustment. The second adjustment is that the Impatriate regime used to be in the old version of the law 2 years of mandatory journey. I mean, you have to be 2 years in Italy, but full 2 years means 24 consecutive months registered in the commune. Good. They said in the new version 2024 you have to stay 5 years. Will be the maximum amount of time and also the minimum. So you have to stay 5 years. So through this conversion into law, they put it from 5 years down to 4. Okay? 5 years down to 4. So the Impatriate regime 2024 will last for 5 years, but you're obliged to stay in Italy for 4 years. And will be full 4 years. So it means 12 consecutive months each years, okay? So you have to, instead of being 24 months, will be 48 consecutive months, okay? So full 4 years. So this is the other adjustment instead of 5. I think that instead it's quite interesting, they changed in 18 December, is that you can keep working for the same employer as you were employee or as a self-employed, okay? So you can keep working for the same employer. So you can, basically, you were living abroad, you want to move to Italy, but you still want to keep your job with the same clients or with the same employer. This now, with this new version, thanks to the parliament, it's possible. So you can working, so 1, 2, 3, working with the same employer. That's a very good and big news, okay? Of course, this comes with some side effects. Of course, they never give you something for free. You have to always consider some adjustment also on this tax benefit, on these requirements. If you want to keep working for the same employer, you should have not been living in Italy for the previous 6 tax years, while the ordinary law says only 3 years. Or if you were working in Italy with an employer, then you move abroad, then you were moving back to Italy again under the same employer, then it would be 7 years. But of course, all the clients that are watching ESENtaxa, our channel, they don't care about these things. You know why? Because most likely you never lived in Italy. So for you, this is basically no sense. I mean, it's useless. It's a useless requirement. I mean, It's not useless. I mean, it's basically, for sure you will respect these requirements because you basically will never live in Italy. You will never be tax resident in Italy, okay? We had some people that lived in Italy, but most likely they didn't work for the same employer, and then they just have to be outside Italy for the 3 tax years prior to the relocation, okay? So 3 tax years prior to the relocation if you will change your employer. 6 years if you will work for the same employer or for the same group of companies, which means that you're working for a company which control another company, and then you move to another sub-company controlled by the same holding, okay? So this is the definition of group. So the same group, same employer, then you have to wait 6 years before moving to Italy, apply for the Impatriate regime, or 7 years if you were working already with an Italian employer, you moved abroad, and then you were asking to come back in Italy under the same employer. So this is the change that the Parliament had, but what it matters for us, for 90% of our clients, is that we can work for the same employer. This is even better from the previous version of the Impatriate regime 2023. So this is quite interesting. What else? The decree law for the Impatriate regime 2024, they stop the possibility to extend for other 5 years this tax regime. The Parliament proposed a compromise. They said you can work 5 years under the Impatriate regime, you can extend plus other 3 years, so this is another thing they changed. How you can extend for 3 years? How? Which is the only possibility? If you purchase a residential property in Italy in 2023, and at the same time you moved in 2024, okay? So these are the conditions. So you purchase a property in 2023, in between January and December 2023, and at the same time, so 2 conditions has to be verified at the same time, you move your residence. And a graphical one means that you register to your commune in Italy. You will do it in 2024, because now we are recording this video in 2023, December 2023. So you will move to Italy, registering yourself in the commune, or you will become tax resident in Italy. One of the 2. Okay? So this is a very strict scenario. I think a few people will manage to apply for this situation. Either they were already planned to purchase a property in 2023, and then in 2024 they decide to move to Italy and live in Italy. Then they will have the chance to extend the Impatriate regime for other 3 years. Okay? So these 1, 2, 3, 4, these 4 elements were proposed by the Parliament, and the Parliament, the majority of the deputies, voted these changes, and now the Impatriate regime 2024 new version has also these things, these possibilities. Of course, if you want to apply for the Impatriate regime, those are not the only requirements that you have to respect. There are plenty of other requirements, details, and all tax clarifications, a lot of them, refer to the previous version of the law, that of course they will be applied for the new version of the law, because the tax agency uses the old tax clarification to have the same idea for the new version of the same law. So they will follow the same tax clarification whenever it comes to a similar situation, similar scenarios in the same evolution of the same law. I don't know if I make myself clear, but basically what you should do before apply for the Impatriate regime, you have to be sure to be eligible through the law and through the tax clarification. Why? Because if you're not respecting the tax clarifications, then when you have a tax audit, the tax agency follows their tax clarification, and you have to, if you didn't follow them because you want to say, I just want to only follow the law because it's my right as a taxpayer, then you have to be followed in court with a tax lawyer and try to win the controversy, the case in court with a tax lawyer, which is going to be very expensive. In order to do that, you have to comply with all the tax clarification and with all the tax laws. We have updated our Impatriate regime eligibility test. In the description below the video, you will have a link. If you follow this online eligibility test, which is basically under the form of an online course, you will understand if you are eligible or not for the Impatriate regime 2024 with these new updates and based on the existing tax clarification that we're referring to 2023. Okay? I know because of all these changes, things got complicated, but here in ESENtaxa we are here to help you to understand better the evolution of the law, how you can exploit, be 100% legal under the law without any problem, and be bulletproof in case of tax audit. For anything else, if you have followed the course, if you have purchased this course, online test verification, and some topics are not clear because we understand there are a lot of mess behind it, you can write us to have a clarification on one particular topic, okay? And that's it for today. If you like this content, please subscribe to the channel, notification bell, and like button to help us grow as a channel and in order to give you and release for free these kind of informations that are quite useful. Thank you, see you to the next video. Bye.